Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Festo's Garage. Today we're going to be replacing a Serpentine belt, tensioner, and idler pulley on the Jeep Commander with a 5.7 liter Hemi. Follow along because this is a job that you can definitely do yourself. Here under the hood of the vehicle, first thing we're going to do, loosen this clamp. This little hose gets pulled off the air box. Then we're going to pop this engine cover up. You don't have to remove it all the way, just out of the way. So right here we'll have a 10mm bolt and another band clamp. Let's go ahead and loosen that band clamp off the intake. Next we're going to take our extension, our socket with a 10mm, and we're going to take the bolt loose that holds this resonator. Now we should be able to take this thing off. There we go. Now underneath, you'll see there's a plug. We'll unplug that, and we'll just stick it up front here, out of the way. This little hose can be pushed out of the way, and now we can get down and access this belt and the pulleys. This vehicle's got a serpentine belt, which means that a single belt goes around all of the pulleys at the same time and drives everything off of one belt. And to be able to take this off, you just got to simply loosen the tensioner, take the tension off the belt, and pull the belt off the front. Now this is the tensioner, and the way that you take the tension off is you use this port here with your socket wrench, and you can take and tension it on this spring in here. So you find the tensioner down here. Alright, so I've got my wrench pushed into the slot. I got me a pole. That way I can get good leverage. You see how I can do that? That's taking the tension off. So while I've got it over, I can simply just slide the belt right off of all the pulleys. Let the tension off. Now I can take the belt out. Now that's easy. If all you're doing is replacing the belt, you're good to go right now. Just put the new belt on, tension it back on there after you've routed it in the proper places, and you're good to go. But it's always a good idea to replace the tensioner and replace the idler at the same time. So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, this is a 15mm, and we're going to put it right on the bolt that holds it to the water pump. Crack it loose. Alright, there's the bolt from out of the tensioner. And there's the tensioner itself. And you can see the springs inside here, and this little nub locks into a port on the front of the water pump, and that's what gives it the spring. This part moves independently from this part. Now, this one seems okay, just a little bit dirty. I don't hear any noise in the pulley. So it's probably okay, but we're going to replace it anyway, just as general practice. Next step is to get this idler pulley off. Now that's done with a little bit of a different tool. This is the tool we're going to use for the idler. This is called a T50. It's a Torx. So it's got these little points all the way around it. There's 6 of them. So you can get this at Harbor Freight. It's pretty cheap. They're going to last you a long time. You just got to make sure that you've got it forced all the way up in there as far as you can so that you don't mess up any of these nubs. So here we go. There's our idler. Got this bolt out of the idler. And, ooh, listen. That's got a bad bearing. Compared to the new one, you don't hear anything. So let's go ahead and put that back together. You'll notice there's a little plastic washer thing on here, and what that does is that spreads out to hold it inside of the pulley. So now it's one. What we're going to do is we're going to install this. We're going to make sure that this nub goes into the slot on the water pump. You'll see the hole for it to line up with. And we're going to go ahead and stick this on there and put this bolt back through and tighten it up. Alright, we got the tensioner back in. Now we'll put our Torx bit on and we'll stick this idler back in. Alright, now that we've got both of those in, it's time to get our new belt. Alright, once you got the belt laying close to where it goes, you'll have to take some of the, you'll have to use tensioner and loosen it up to be able to get the belt to actually go on the pulleys. The belt on, we've got our little tube back in place. Now what you got to do is you got to line a little hole inside of here up with this shaft that pokes out right here, and at the same time line this up with the throttle body. That's a little bit tricky, but it's definitely doable. So what I like to do is look down in here. I can see it. Oh, don't forget your sensor. I can see the little port, and I'm just gonna line it right back up in there. All right, there it went. You'll know when you got it in there, everything will start lining up real nice. Alright, so we'll get this boot to slide over. Yeah. That's nice and solid. Put our 10mm bolt back in here to hold it. Alright, tighten up our clamps here. Alright, the last step is you look under this cover at little balls that stick up under here. They're kind of hard to see, but you'll take the cover and you'll line them up with little holders. And you can see down in there, you just get them right over top of where they're at. Here we go. All right, that's a job done. Let's start her up and see how she sounds. That's about perfect. Well, if you've watched the video to this point, I'd like to say thank you very much. If you found it educational or entertaining, please click the thumbs up button, give it a like. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Until next time, GreggFesto out.